Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I as always am Grestar and this is another death battle reaction, Blake versus Mikasa. So of course make sure to click on the link in the description below to go to the official release first, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Watch that there, then come back here and we'll watch it together. So yes, Blake from Ruby versus Mikasa from Attack on Titan. I'll start with this. People in the comments, one person in particular, don't remember your name, sorry, they've told me that this episode is actually really heavy in terms of spoilers. Like, I personally don't think that you should watch Death Battle if you're afraid of getting spoiled on something, but this one, it might be worse than, like, normal, but, like, spoilers for Attack on Titan in particular. So if you're planning on watching that, or reading the manga, or whatever, and, like, you're not caught up, or the manga's probably even ahead of the anime, and they probably spoil that, so point is, if you don't want to be spoiled on Attack on Titan, you probably don't want to be watching this one. Just saying. I personally, even if I do plan to watch Attack on Titan at some point in the future, which I don't plan to, but you never know, right? I'm okay with it. Like, I've still enjoyed Dragon Ball Z, despite all of the spoilers I've had, all the things I knew were coming, so, But for those of you who want, like, a pure experience with Attack on Titan, keep that in mind. So yes, I've never seen any Attack on Titan. I really, like, I've seen a little bit of gameplay from, you know, a bit of a speedrun that I was watching someone do. And I know, like, the very, very basics. I know that they have some tool that lets them kind of Spider-Man around the city, and I know that they have their big ol' swords, and I know that they want to attack the Titan on the back of the neck. And that's really all I know. I don't think that they themselves have, like, powers or anything, you know? I think that they're stronger and more capable than normal humans because it's anime, and so that's just kind of a given, you know? But I don't think that they're, like, supernaturally enhanced or anything like that. Like, I think they have those tools because the Titans are such a big risk, and, like, that's what makes the anime, you know, like, tense, right? As for Ruby, like, they definitely are more superhuman than, you know, typical, or not typical anime necessarily, but, what I mean is that anime itself seems to put humans on a higher level. I mean, cartoons in general kind of do, you know? Where it's like, you could just take a lot more, you could do a lot more. Like, look at My Hero Academia, right? Obviously, that anime is about, like, superpowered individuals. But even people who don't have super strength quirks, like, have the ability to be way stronger than any human has any right to be. You know what I mean? So that's basically what I mean. Ruby, though, seems to at least be more so where that's actually a thing, like the superpowered nature of it, than Attack on Titan, from what I know, which is basically nothing. So yeah, I have a general idea, I think, of where Blake is in terms of her, like, you know, power level, so to speak. But I really have no idea in terms of Mikasa. So that's, I think, what it's going to come down to. Confirming what I think I know about, like, Blake's overall potential, not specifics, just overall potential, and then seeing what Mikasa is capable of. So with that, let's get to watching. So here we go for another death battle, Blake versus Mikasa.
Blake Belladonna, the feline huntress from Ruby.
That's right.
And Mikasa Ackerman, the giant killing scout from
Oh,
Attack on
Mikasa.
Titan.
These two reluctant heroes.
I mean, that makes
are
sense.
fighting for a
Japanese, you
better
wouldn't say
world.
What'll
Mikasa.
happen when they go toe-to-toe?
Because that would be
Who's
a
the
change in, like, the
swingiest and
emphasis.
cuttiest? He's whizzing
Mikasa.
a boomstick.
And it's our
Cool.
job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win.
A death battle, that's right. What is Boomstick's whole, like, pose there? What is he doing with his fingers and everything?
Will make violent revolution inevitable.
I wonder if JFK was thinking about anime cat girls when he said that.
Despite the
Probably.
world of remnant
Who
being
doesn't think
home
about
to a
anime cat
plethora
girls
of
all the
magical
time?
beings, the faunus were subject to discrimination from humanity.
That's so dumb. How can humans be racist against faunas? Aside from looking slightly different, they're basically exactly the same.
Racism. How weird.
For most of her youth, Blake Belladonna worked with the faunus activist organization, the White Fang. But when her parents expressed concern at its growing violent tactics, she ran away to join them fully.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Ginger Kylo Ren's influence was making it all cat-girl supremacist-y.
Believing the faunus deserved to rule the world instead of humans, Adam Taurus turned the White Fang into a terrorist organization.
Yay.
With the young, impressionable Blake in tow. Now Blake got to put
Poor
her
Blake.
superhuman faunus abilities to the test as a guerrilla fighter.
She's not a gorilla whiz. She's clearly a cat, you dingus.
That's not what
As a clearly cat faunus, Blake's got superhuman strength, speed, and endurance. She can see in the dark and even pick up on sounds regular humans can't hear.
Blake has also unlocked her
Cool.
aura, the manifestation of one's soul. Similar to the Eastern concept of chi, Blake can use her aura to passively withstand intense damage.
That's
Though
nice.
If it's overtaxed, she will be as defenseless as any ordinary human.
Her aura survived
At
the
least
huge
ordinary
flying monster
human.
called the Nevermore crashing into her twice.
Measuring the size of the Nevermore compared to the stone structure it shattered, we can gauge it had to have fragmented over 2,000 cubic meters of rock.
That means Blake's aura ate over 4 tons of TNT without even
4 tons of
breaking.
TNT.
I
Okay.
guess you could say she, sold it. Eh?
Don't try that again, or I'm gonna have to cut you with a sword as sharp as Gamble Shroud. It's everything you could ever want in a sick anime combo weapon. Part katana, part kasurigama, and it wouldn't be Ruby if it wasn't part gun.
Right,
Hell,
yep.
Its sheath
Gotta
is
be
a
part
sword,
gun.
Too. That's just showing off, and I like it.
Which some of those I still
96
wonder, how do you
long
reload
elastic
them?
ribbon attached to the katana's hilt lets Blake use Gamble Shroud as a grappling hook for maneuverability and creative attacks. An invaluable asset for the White Fang and her new boyfriend.
Of course.
Well, until he threatened to blow up a bunch of innocent people. Now, instead of a bad boy, he's just a boy that is bad.
Yeah.
Horrified, Blake turned her
There
back
is a
on Adam
difference.
the White Fang, and for the second time in her life, she ran away.
Even though, again, like, that part's symbolic, doesn't really accomplish that
In a
much.
sense, it is. Blake's aura allows her to manifest a unique ability, or semblance, called Shadow. Born from her desire to escape, Blake can create a brief, intangible clone for deception, evasion, or even to propel herself through the air.
She can even combine them
Okay,
with
so it
different
is
kinds of
tangible
dust,
to her
which is
then.
Basically magic gunpowder. Fire dust clones will explode on impact, while ice will freeze you solid. Though once she runs out of aura, that's it for her semblance too. Well,
I don't remember any of that stuff, so I feel like that was
Yeah,
after I stopped
I
watching
killed him.
Ruby.
And it wasn't even on purpose.
Don't worry, just some biological cloning. It's a hobby. Don't ask if I'm the original. I genuinely don't know anymore.
Aw.
Alone again.
At least he
Blake
doesn't seem
lacked
to mind
purpose,
too
a place
terribly.
to call home. Until she reached Beacon Academy. There, she learned to be a huntress, a soldier of peace sworn to protect the land from monsters and any that would do it harm.
And she wouldn't do it alone. Blake would join up with fellow
Hello.
huntresses in training, Weiss Schnee, Yang Xiaolong, and Ruby Rose to make Team Ruby. With
At
a
least for a
W.
She
while.
didn't just find teammates, but friends as well.
Feelings gross. Don't worry, the power of friendship didn't get in the way of her kicking some ass. In
Okay.
fact, it made her even better at it. She's defeated the gangster Roman Torchwick, the kaiju-sized Si Fei Long, and the assassins Mercury and Emerald, and they could dodge natural lightning.
Comparing the distance they traveled relative to the lightning bolt, we can determine they were moving over 26,000 meters per second, nearly 80 times the speed of sound.
She
Okay.
even managed to stand up to Adam and all his mom just doesn't understand energy with the help of a new, way less toxic partner. So long, you abusive a-hole!
No easy feat considering Adam was strong enough to pulverize this massive spider droid with his moon slice, a feat worth over 4 tons of TNT.
Not too
Okay.
bad for a bootleg Virgil, and Gamble Shroud could take hits like that over and over before breaking.
Despite her troubled past, Blake would never stop fighting for a better, more peaceful, more equitable world.
That's
she
good.
was done running. With her friends at her side, she would face the future head on.
Cool. I imagine season 4 Ruby got better once the team actually got back together.
Welcome to Scenic Shiganshina.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rustic medieval art.
This rundown might contain major spoilers for parts of the anime that haven't yet been adapted or adapted from the manga or something.
Cowering behind enormous walls, the last remnants of humanity were driven to near extinction by the arrival of the monstrous Titans.
Oh no.
Despite that, little Mikasa Ackerman lived a happy, normal life.
Until?
Until
Yeah.
her parents were brutally murdered in front of her. But never fear.
Wait,
she
not even
could
by
reverse the
Titans?
shit out of those assholes with the help of Eren Yeager, another pint-sized psychopath in training.
Ah!
Adopted by Aaron's parents,
Great.
Mikasa and Aaron somehow lived a happy, normal life.
I don't know if I believe.
Until all their friends and family were brutally murdered by Titans.
Okay,
I'm sensing
yeah.
a pattern here.
With barely anyone in her life lasting longer than a 25-minute episode, Mikasa became Eren's guardian angel.
Certainly a valuable asset to Eren, who devoted his life to exterminating the Titan threats.
Uh-huh.
Together, they joined the military and got their hands on some sweet Titan slaying gear, the vertical maneuvering equipment, or
Also known as omnidirectional movement, or ODM gear in the anime, it allows Mikasa to fight the towering titans at their own level.
Okay, ODM gear, that's cool.
Comes with two 20 to 30 foot long iron wire spears she can separately aim and shoot. It'll hook into any surface. They'll allow her to swing around like a steampunk Spider-Man.
She can zoom through the air and change directions on a dime with a special fan on her back that fires pressurized gas.
Okay.
Farting. That's called farting, Wiz.
No. Different. Alright, is he farting or just making it with his mouth?
I'll get another clone.
Last little bit of it there made me more concerned.
Mikasa's ODM gear can propel her at speeds up to 366 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
That's almost a third the speed of sound.
Wow, that's like nothing compared to
Speeds in a second.
what we saw in
That's
Ruby.
over 10 G's of force. 10 times Earth's gravity.
For reference, astronauts withstand about 3 G's of force during liftoff, and fighter pilots can withstand up to 9 G's for a second or two during aerial combat. Even just 6 G's for a sustained period of time can be fatal for a human being, but Mikasa can survive almost twice that much and fight giant monsters at the same time.
That insane speed makes her especially deadly when she whips out her special Titan slashing swords made of ultra hard steel.
Ultra hard
And that's
steel.
Exactly the term I'd use to describe myself after watching what they can do to a Titan.
Despite their name, they're rather fragile, at least relative to the super tough Titan skin they
Oh.
have to repeatedly cut.
Oh, okay.
So Mikasa carries a set of 12 that she can easily dispose of and replace mid-combat.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of became
Smart.
a problem when some super intelligent Titans started sporting crazy tough armor. That's when Mikasa breaks out the big guns.
Titans
the
are intelligent?
Thunder Spears.
Essentially proto-bazookas, the Thunder Spears are thrown like javelins. They're sharp enough to pierce even the armored Titan's impenetrable hide.
Wow.
And once their fuse is severed, they'll explode, devastating anything within range.
Shattering the armored Titan's armor is no joke. It was tough enough to tank punching a hole through Wall Maria.
By measuring the size of the gate in comparison to, let's go with this guy.
Okay,
we can
sure.
determine the armored Titan violently fragmented over 1,000 cubic meters of rock.
That'd take over 18 tons of TNT.
That is bigger than the
enough to
4
level a
tons
city
thing.
block. And the Thunder Spear shreked it. No surprises here. If you're too close to one of its
Oh.
blasts, it's game over.
Ooh.
Despite the awesome power at her fingertips, Mikasa only really joined the military to watch over and protect Eren.
Of course.
Like a loving mother hen of death. And that became way harder once Eren learned he could also turn into one of those super intelligent
Which
Titans.
I don't know how, but I
Humanity's
knew that
greatest
part.
weapon against the Titan menace, Eren was at the center of all major anti-Titan operations, which meant Mikasa was there too.
Right.
Ruthlessly dispatching anyone that might harm him.
Get over yourself, Eren. So what if your childhood home was destroyed by a Titan? You're living rent-free in this girl's head. And it could be worse. You could be Armin. Man.
I don't know who that is.
Programmed to protect him.
You're not off base. Mikasa's last name isn't inconsequential. Ages ago, the Ackermans were bioengineered to be subservient super soldier royal guards to the mighty Eldian Emperor.
Oh.
Yep, wherever all that shit came from.
Okay.
Mikasa's got the Ackerman blood coursing through her veins. The same blood that gives her a fraction of a Titan's power without transforming. Holy
Ah.
crap.
It's that power that allowed Captain Levi, another Ackerman, to dodge point-blank bullets. That's over Mach 2, and Mikasa can easily keep up with him.
It also lets her subconsciously tap into the combined experience and battle instincts of Ackerman's past. She's like the
That's pretty
Avatar
cool.
of Titan murder.
Unfortunately, this blood bond with Eren means that even when he goes too far, she's obligated to protect him.
Oh.
Like a robot.
I don't buy it, Wiz. She doesn't love him because of her DNA. She loves him because he's the only one who stood up for her when she couldn't stand up for her.
No, it's the
when
DNA
she
now.
Looks at him and the rest of her friends, she sees a hope for a brighter tomorrow.
Wow, Boomstick. that was touching.
And she has fart powers.
Well, it was nice while it lasted.
I'm not listening to another word of this.
Is that the end? All right.
point?
Well,
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
it's time for a death battle and pause. Okay, so like I think it's gonna be Blake. I think Blake's gonna win. There was like I felt like there was really just one moment. Kind of, I'll give it like 1.5, but like it wasn't enough to change my mind, you know? One moment where I thought like, okay, that seemed better than what Blake had. And that was when we got like the Titan had withstood this like 16 whatever tons, right? TNT. And, you know, she was able to dish out more. And, like, in Blake's analysis portion, we got with, like, the night, whatever, the big bird, right? Whatever it's called. We got that was, like, 4 tons of TNT or something. TNT, right? It's something, trust me. But, like, I know personally that was from, like, the very beginning of Ruby, you know? And I'm inclined to think that she has gotten a lot stronger since then. This is a sort of thing where it's like, if you watch Hulk versus Broly, you know, they gave Broly certain statistics based on certain things, but then they were like, it should be noted that that was when, like, Goku was at this stage, and he's now, like, several beyond that, you know, or a few, whatever. And so, you know, you have to try to keep in mind the scaling and the power there. So yes, the 12 was bigger than the 4, but I don't personally think that the 4 was Blake's best. And then we had, like, the speed feats, right? And Mikasa was, like, a third of the speed of sound or something like that. And Blake had fought and beaten people that were, like, 8 times the speed of sound, you know? Or something like that. And so I think that Blake, I think she's faster than Mikasa. But even if she's not faster than her personally, she has fought people and, like, you know, succeeded against people who are way faster than Mikasa. So, yeah. We also have, like, there's the ultra hard steel blades, but they've broken a lot. But that's specifically because the Titan's armor is so strong and, like, impenetrable, you know? But then we have Blake's sword, which is also just incredibly durable and whatnot. And I don't know really how to compare the two. You know, like, are they both capable of breaking? Yes. But I don't know how hard, like, the Titan's armor really is. I don't know how hard the, Blake's sword, because I just don't remember its name, unfortunately. Ghost Shadows was coming to mind, but I don't know. I don't know how hard that is, or what has actually, you know, what it's taken to break it. So, for now, I'm just going to render that a moot point in my mind. I'm just going to say that we're not going to be worrying about either of their swords breaking. We're just going to take them for as they are, you know? I think after that, it kind of comes down to you have the fraction of the Titan power with Mikasa, and then you have Blake's aura. And between those two, I don't know how much, like, the fraction is, right? But I think, personally, that Blake would be able to fight Titans, you know? I think she would. Just given what she's been able to fight against in, you know, Ruby. So, with that being said, I think she would be able to withstand the fraction of the Titan power that Mikasa has. Mikasa is impressive with the, kind of like, you know, the Avatar line of, like, combat instincts and whatnot. Like, I think that she has that kind of experience over Blake. Even just normal experience. Like, she's been fighting longer than Blake has, I'm pretty sure. And she's had more formal training, too, as far as, like, the military is concerned, and she's just older, I believe, and so has, you know, more experience in that regard. But I think still it's a matter of, like, Blake seems to be able to withstand what Mikasa could dish out. Blake seems to be a lot faster than Mikasa. I would say that Blake is also more versatile, given, you know, the sword, the whip-like kind of thing, I don't remember the name of it, that she can turn her sword into, the gun that she has, the aura, and all of the different abilities, like the explosions, the ice, her cloning, that kind of thing that she is able to dish out with her aura. She can withstand more. It just seems to be that, like, aside from a very few cases, like the experience, that Blake has the advantages here. So Blake is going to win this one, and play.
Hey!
Hi.
Civilians were supposed to evacuate this area hours ago. Get the hell out of here. They're coming.
Why is the movement so stiff?
You deaf? I said get the hell. Leave me alone.
It's such a weird start to the fight. Because it's like, hey, civilians are supposed to be out of here. It's not safe. And Blake's like, leave me alone. I'll kill you.
2 sets of ears. She must have 4 times the hearing.
I'm so torn on how the fight is visually. Like, I like it, but I want the frame rate to be higher. Because everything is just, like, a little choppy. I hope it's not just my playback. Her eyes there.
She likes popping those clones and attacking me from behind.
You know, part of the reason the blades might break is because they're hardly, like, within the hills. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's super set in there. She's just kind of like Reaper with those. Instead of reloading, just like, alright, ditch them, new ones. It's just the straight punches. Oh no, it's the torpedo bazooka things! I think she's okay.
Gotcha this time.
Just tank that to the face. No! Now you have to get a mechanical arm. I don't know how, like, feasible that is, but it was cool. Oh, it's weird to have the finishing blow be using the enemy's weapon against them. We don't. I was hoping we'd actually get to see her fight the Titan, though.
Too bad she can't hear omniscient narration from beyond the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Despite Mikasa's overwhelming and frankly terrifying tenacity, Blake's varied arsenal and powers gave her a clear edge.
The ODM gear allowed Mikasa to keep up with Gamble Shroud's agility, but
Gamble
in terms of
Shroud, not
offense,
Ghost Shroud.
Mikasa was kind of a one-trick pony. And that's especially compared to the Swiss anime knife that is Gamble Shroud, which
Yeah.
can stretch 10 to 16 times longer than either of Mikasa's cables.
Blake's variety of shadows she could spam at will kept Mikasa guessing, and her aura allowed her to survive any attacks that could land.
To be fair, the Thunder Spears were a different story, and were powerful enough to shatter Blake's aura. The aura could survive around 4 tons of TNT, while the Spear's explosion could dish out over 18.
Did the aura
But
never
Blake's
get
far greater
stronger than
speed made
that?
her nearly impossible to consistently hit. While Mikasa could keep up with characters that can dodge bullets, Blake could keep up with characters that can dodge lightning.
Right,
In
yeah.
this case, nearly 40 times faster than Mikasa.
And those Thunder Spears are meant for big, slow Titans, not human opponents, so it's unlikely she'd ever get a solid hit in with one.
In that same sense, Mikasa's Ackerman heritage couldn't save her either.
It may give her generations worth of combat experience Avatar style, but almost all of it was against Titans, not a Faunus Huntress like
That
me,
makes sense. I
who
didn't even
has
think about
powers
that.
The Ackerman family has never seen before.
Coupled with her Odium Gear's limited fuel supply and breakable swords, Mikasa just couldn't end the fight before her own options ran out. Mikasa had guts, but Blake's speed, versatility, and sick anime combo weapon gave her the edge.
It may have been a gamble,
Ah.
but Blake had the spirit to win without a shadow of a doubt.
The winner is Blake
Why
Belladonna.
Spirit? Claps for Blake.
Hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Death
Thank
Battle.
you, thank
As always,
you.
you can get our latest merch at
Death!
store.roosterteeth.com.
Was that Death Race?
And also
I
click down below to
didn't catch that
watch the
last
video.
time. Next time on Death Battle, we have... It's Poe. Oh. Versus... Was it Iron Fist? Is that... Yeah, Poe versus Iron Fist. Okay. I don't know a terrible ton about either of them. I've seen the first Kung Fu Panda movie, and I started seeing the second, but it was an outdoor theater sort of thing, and my crush was there, and she had been... she had hurt me recently, and so I didn't really watch the movie. I just kind of emo-boyed, you know? Anyway, let's talk about this death battle. So I was right, Amy. It makes sense to me. It does. Like, I mean, the benefits that I gave, or the advantages rather, that I gave Mikasa, they, in the conclusion, explained how they weren't actually that helpful. Like, yeah, she had the kind of generational instinct sort of thing, but that was fighting specifically Titans, and that makes sense. While I did think that her aura could withstand, you know, Mikasa's attacks, I also thought that her aura, Blake's aura at that point, would have been a lot stronger, would have been able to withstand more. And maybe it can, maybe they just didn't have proof of it, I don't know. Just the fact that the torpedo thing was meant to be against these giant, slow-moving, or at least relatively so, creatures, not something like Blake. You know, that is a much smaller target, can move a lot faster, that sort of thing. Aside from that, yeah, like, the advantages did seem to be in Blake's favor. They seemed to agree with me, so I'm glad for that. Just picking up on the versatility, the speed, the overall strength, and the, like, adaptability of the weapons and things like that. Yeah, so I don't really have any issues with this conclusion, or with, like, the analyses themselves. Interesting to me that this time they actually did give us Blake's, like, biggest feat, like the 4 tons or kilotons, or again, whatever it was, right, of TNT, that her aura could withstand. That's actually just what they went with. It wasn't like they provided that and then there was like another feat that they actually have a bigger number for, you know. It was just like 4, that's it, that's what Blake's got. They just stuck with it. So it might just be because that's really all they had to do, considering everything else was in Blake's favor, but yeah, that's what they did. So yeah, no complaints there. So really, I think all I have is to talk about the fight itself, specifically the animation, but I do want to just point out again, I thought the beginning was weird. You know me, I like a good story with these fights. And this one, it had a story that I'm content with for sure. So I'm not saying that, like, it did a bad job with this part. I'm just saying I think it's weird. Like, in a funny way, but weird. Because again, Mikasa is like, civilians are supposed to evacuate. This is about to become a really dangerous area. And Blake's like, piss off, I won't be alone. I'm gonna kill you instead. All right, Blake, sure. So anyway, I am quite torn with the actual visual aesthetic appeal of this fight, because there are a lot of things that I liked about it, and there are some things that I just didn't. Really, the biggest thing that I didn't is just the frame rate. I just wish that the animation itself were smoother, that the character models looked a little bit more lifelike, because a lot of times, like, if they're swinging, they're just, like, completely stiff, you know, as they're moving along, holding their cable or whatever. The eyes very often to me just seemed wrong, especially for Mikasa. You know, when they were talking, mouth movements just were not present all the you know, or if they were present like half the time they should have been, kind of thing. They should have moved a lot more or whatnot. Yeah, just like there was, to me, there seemed to be lacking a lot of fluidity. And that's what I would have wanted changed with the animation itself. But things I did like, I really did like the location that they set this fight in, and how they actually used the space to really good advantage. You know, it wasn't a stationary fight. They actually moved all around that little city, or whatever you want to call it. You know, they broke through walls and into like individual homes, you know, in and out of them. You know, it just aided in showing us that variety of things that the two combatants were capable of. And it helped to flesh out the world, you know, a little bit more. So in that regard, you know, it was more realistic, it was more lifelike, and I did appreciate it. And especially, like, it was kind of necessary that they do something like that, considering a big part of Mikasa is being able to swing around. It's that mobility. And, you know, Blake, too, has a lot of that. You know, it's like if you put Spider-Man in a room, like in a single room, and had him fight. Sure, he could do it. He does it all the time. But that's not necessarily what a lot of people know him for, and so it was cool here to have the location really complement the two characters. So I appreciated that. And you know, that was my biggest thing, honestly, with the positives. Which I'm not saying that to mean like, oh, there's just that. No, but that was, I think that really says something. I think the idea for the fight, like the fight itself, like the animation, was very good. I just think that the execution could have been brushed up a little bit more. I don't think it was bad by any means. There were just those fluidity issues that I would have liked to see resolved to make this fight just, you know, that much better. Like, it would have been so much better, I think, if those had been fixed. And then, you know, if that were the case and I watched it again, like, would I notice other things? Probably, you know, but but that's what stood out to me. I liked the music in this one. I thought that it was fitting for the situation, at least more so than others have been, you know, recently. Mostly, I guess, Hulk versus Broly. That was the biggest one where I didn't think it was fitting personally. A lot of other people did. That's great. And again, it's not to say that I thought that song was bad, just that it didn't seem to fit in that moment to me. What was the other? Oh, and it was still odd how the finishing blow, the thing that decided this, was Blake using Mikasa's weapon against her. I'm trying to think and failing because I forget death battles the moment I finish watching them. Trying to think of other death battles where that was the case, where the winner was determined because the other person used the other person's weapon. And right now, like, nothing's coming to mind. That's not to say it's never happened before, just nothing's coming to mind. Again, no thoughts, empty, just vibes. So it was interesting, but weird. Just in, like, for the animation, I thought it was cool, right? But it was weird for the sake of a death battle, I thought, just because a lot of people take the fight, like the animation, to be their Bible, basically, for the matchup, right? And so they're like, oh, well, surely this fight must represent the best way that this fight would go down, the ideal way this person would win, etc., etc. So I think it's cheating that she uses not her own gear or powers or whatever, you know? So it's just kind of weird in that sense. Like, I think that they maybe should have had like, it was cool, don't get me wrong, but maybe they should have had the finishing blow be something of Blake's. You know, whether it's her own weapon, whether it's a power, you know, like the aura, a manifestation of that. Or even, honestly, if she just, like, threw her, like, got rid of her ODM and threw her off a building and Mikasa died on impact. You know, just like, yeah, because while it was really cool to see her turn that around and, like, even pull the Gamble Shroud to, like, I don't know, launch, like, make it explode or whatever happened. I don't even know. It was cool looking. Yeah, it just might have some people questioning what Blake could actually do to finish Mikasa off herself without using other weapons beyond her scope. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you all thought about this death battle in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. Then next time we will be watching Poe versus Iron Fist. I forgot and then immediately remembered in that split second. So, yes, thank you all again. With that, we're calling it here. So have a good one, everybody.